what if we lose out, huh? So I really wanted to start that way because when Tuttle came in, it immediately sparked Michigan's offense. They ended up, they were down 14-0. Then they had a 17-14 lead. I started thinking about 2020 Cade. So as you're always quick to point out, Michigan, in fact, did not win out in 2020 after Cade said that after beating Rutgers. So now I'm wondering if this game is basically the equivalent to 2020 if Michigan had lost to Rutgers.
Oh, gosh.
Now, 2024 Washington is better than 2020 Rutgers, but 2020 led to some drastic changes on the coaching staff, and hopefully that's the case this time around again. I know maybe you as a joke, but your people for real and Michigan State people for real will be like, well, that's when they hired Connor Stallions. He was around before then. He was just official after that. But they got rid of Don Brown, who keeps getting compared to Wink Martindale. They got rid of Matt Weiss, and they got Sharon Moore. They got other coaches involved. They got J.J. McCarthy. They got Blake Corum healthy. They got,
So who needs to go?
Wink Martindale, Kirk Campbell, the quarterbacks. Like, they had J.J., who they had Cade the next year. But
We're, 5 games in?
Yeah.
And you're ready to blow it up?
It's not working.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not. This is one of the games. I like Jed Fish. I've said that all year so far.
Correct me if I'm wrong. This is probably the first game all season that you would feel that would have had a different result than if they had the last regime, right? Like if they had Jim Harbaugh still and that whole staff still.
Yeah.
This is the only game that would have gone
The
differently.
result.
At least the final score, like the win-loss column
And
result.
to be fair, this very, very easily could have gone the other way.
Yeah.
And it's funny because then I would have been like, Jack Tuttle, like he's the answer.
Yeah.
Like it's probably not good enough for Oregon or Ohio State, but like whatever.
8 or 9 games, he might be the answer.
But
Sneaking
and I am not blaming the officials at all. Some of my Michigan friends were like, yeah, that sucked, but the officials, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, there was one blatantly bad call on third down. Michigan threw pass. There was obvious interference. They didn't call it. You still, you can't blame the officials.
The tight end?
Yeah.
I saw that, and I just didn't really feel like it was blatant enough to like complain about it, to be honest.
Yeah,
like, if it would have been called on that play, I'd have been like, eh. I don't know.
I think it should have been called. I'm also not blaming that play because Michigan still, like, they still would have had to move the ball to score, first of all, which they have not proven that they can do with any consistency at all. And they also had more chances. Like, I don't know, whatever. I don't think that call cost Michigan the game. I think the refs were better in this game than they have been the last couple weeks when I was complaining about them during Michigan wins.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Michigan should have won this game. I like Jed Fish. I like their quarterback. Michigan should have won this game. I think if they had Jesse Minter at DC still, they would have won the game. I think if Kirk Campbell wasn't the OC, they maybe or probably win the game. I think if Jack Tuttle had been healthy all year. Now there are different theories going around the Michigan fan base. It was like, why would you create this offense for Alex Orji? And now people are starting to go like, were you making this for Jack Tuttle? And then he got hurt and recovery took too long. Because it doesn't make sense for Alex Orji. But also, Alex Orji has not been a good runner. He was okay last year when he would come in just to run, and that was it. But they had a real quarterback. And now they don't have a real quarterback, except Jack Tuttle, who gets hurt all the time, and is 35 years old.
Yeah,
like
literally graduated high school with Chris Olave.
Yeah, I do think Michigan would have won. I also, the frustrating thing is quarterback situation. Like next year has to be Jaden Davis or someone in the portal who's not in the portal yet.
Right.
But not many guys go into the portal because they're doing real well and want to do good on a bigger stage.
Right. I mean, you see it pretty often, though. Like Cam Ward and Will Howard this year. Those two guys have
I mean,
That's a thing.
Will Howard has played really well. He also did lose his job. It's not like he was dominating there and then was like, I need a bigger stage. Like,
Yeah.
he like, I don't want to say they ran him out, but he wasn't the start. He kind of got McCorded a little, at least.
I don't know. It's still a little different though to go from Kansas State to Ohio State compared to go from Ohio State to Syracuse.
Yeah.
Syracuse squeaked out that win last week though. That was crazy.
Again, Kyle McCord would be great if you were at Michigan, buddy.
He could transfer again, huh?
Now, the offensive line has been insanely frustrating with how bad they've been. But if there's a head coach that I would trust to fix it, it would be Sherrone Moore, the guy who was the offensive line coach for Michigan the last few years.
Yeah.
But even still, like, you're losing Khalil Mullings, you're losing Donovan Edwards to a lesser extent. Like, I just don't care. You hopefully have a bunch of running backs, but like, who's coming in at receiver?
Khalil is like I honestly don't know how old he is.
He's out of eligibility.
Wow. Good for him to like in his last year of eligibility to.
Good for him to stay.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, there's no receivers. There's no quarterback. Colston Loveland is gone, and they're positive about the other tight ends, but it's still Colston Loveland is hurt. Also, Michigan has had some injuries this year. I don't think that affected this game. It's hard for me to see how next year they're gonna not be back to where they were last year because that's impossible.
Improve.
Yeah, like I don't know, man. So it's rough.
It's a rough time.
At least they got Dusty May for basketball, and there's at least some hope there.
Yeah.
Like if this was last year for basketball, I'd be like, oh, sweet. Like, so I'm looking forward to the off season. That sucks. So hopefully basketball doesn't just piss me off.
Yeah. Hopefully
Dusty May is better than Juwan Howard. You have anything to add about this turd of a game?
No.
Great.
No.
Ohio State 35, Iowa 7. It was close for a half.
Yeah. They had a couple. They had three. I think I watched the first half. I think they literally had three total drives. Like, I think it was partly Iowa was getting a few first downs, and partly Ohio State wasn't getting any big plays. But they just the drives that they had took a while, and it was like it just.
I think that was part of the plan. Like they tried to 2021 Michigan them, like with Haskins. Except they didn't give
like
Caleb John. Yeah.
Oh yeah. But even so, Ohio State I feel like we're taking their time, but they had a couple bad turnovers. Like they were driving down the field. Jeremiah Smith had a great play in general, and then ended up fumbling it. But you got to learn from those
I do wonder.
mistakes.
It was 7-0, and I don't remember even what point in the game it was. But Iowa missed the field goal, and it would have made it 7-3. That seems so small, especially in a game that ends up 35-7.
Right.
But if you go into halftime and it's 7-3,
I don't know.
Different things could happen.
I feel like as Iowa against Ohio State at Ohio State, just being down 7-0 at halftime alone is a big win. That I feel like 7-3 isn't that much of a difference, you know.
Yeah.
But then Will Howard had a bad pick in the first half too, so that kind of sputtered the offense in the first half, and then they took care of the ball and put up a lot of points in the second half, so that was good. And Ibuka did he have 3 touchdowns? Or 2 touchdowns? He had 2 touchdowns at least.
I don't even remember.
He had 2 touchdowns, maybe third. Ibuka had a great game. Jeremiah Smith had another highlight reel touchdown, one-handed. Crazy. I
was neck deep in Vlad Golden highlights. He's the center from FAU that transferred with Dusty May. I was joking. He's a 7'2" guy that's not very agile. I was just joking. Anyways, on to the pick standings. They're not all winners, as we saw on Saturday. I went 6-3 this week. You did too, but then you got the bonus point for being less wrong about the game of the week.
Was I?
Yeah.
Didn't I have SMU winning by more? Or no, I had Louisville winning by more.
Oh shoot, you did.
So then
I got to fix this. I got the bonus. Good honesty.
Honestly, I don't know. Like I picked that as the game of the week partly because I was a believer in SMU. As I'm watching the beginning of the game, I'm like, why didn't I pick SMU? Like, what am I doing?
Yeah. You should have.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
So I'll have to fix this, but I'm winning.
Yeah.
Still. One step further take. Not really a hot take, but definitely not a cold take. Mine might be a freezing cold take. This is only the first time that Ohio State and Oregon will play this year. Who else would it be?
Right.
Who else is going to win the big? Indiana.
Yeah. I mean, but like if Oregon loses to Ohio State and then they slip up against somebody else, like with the way that how many teams there are, like Penn State could easily end up with one loss at the end of the season. I don't know I don't know if them and Oregon play off the top of my head. Because that's a big factor. Penn State could upset Oregon or whatever. I mean, it's not even that big of an upset. They're both top 4 teams at this point. And then, like you said, Indiana. Like with Indiana's schedule, if they only lose to Ohio State and they end up having one loss, and they would be in over. They might be in over Oregon. I don't know what the tiebreakers are or whatever, but
that's fair.
Yeah.
I'm just looking up really quick to see Penn State's schedule.
Even if they don't play in the Big Ten Championship, there's a decent chance that they end up playing in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Can we talk about how increasingly it seems like more and more whoever ends up being the 5 seed this year is going to be at a real big advantage?
Why is that?
Because
Penn State only plays Ohio State.
They'll play a home game.
Ranked team.
They'll play a home game against the Group of 5 champion. That's their first round game in the playoffs. Should be an easy win at home, and especially if
it's a good warm up.
Especially if it's a team like if you're Ohio State playing some Sun Belt team that has to come up to the cold in December, it'd be crazy. But then, if
Ohio State hosts a playoff game, are they playing it at home or are they gonna rent out a dome somewhere?
Yeah, they'll play at in Indianapolis, but then they would play the 4 seed in the second round, which will probably be the Big 12 champion or the ACC champion, which is. And it's not it's a neutral site game at that point too, so it's not like they have an advantage of not being at home, being a road like a true road game. Then once you're there, like then you're in the Final Four if you beat them, and it's just like an easy path to get to the Final Four at least. But
didn't think about that. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's my one step further take is that I just made that up just now, so. I actually didn't have one written down.
Nice.
But yeah, one step further take, the 5 seed has a big advantage coming up for the playoff.
Big Ten takeaways, do you have one?
This weekend I think is going to be a big Big Ten takeaway. That's my Big Ten takeaway.
See, I kind of feel like this weekend isn't going to matter.
Yeah, that's
because they're just going to play again for higher stakes later.
Right. Yeah, that's funny because my tweet of the week is about that and is about stakes. But
nice.
Yeah.
Mine is this. Oh, I already said that. My Big Ten takeaway is I was wrong about USC. They're just garbage.
Yeah.
Did you see Lincoln Riley and Clay Helton are like within a game of each other at this point in their USC career?
Wild.
That's nuts.
Mm-hmm. Although I feel like USC has been closer to like Pac-12 championships at times. I think that Lincoln Riley's biggest issue his first few years was not getting rid of Alex Grinch.
Yeah.
Like that. If you would have got rid of him sooner, they probably would have won the Pac-12 at some
I'd
point.
love for Michigan to hire Danton Lynn at DC. Just throw as much money at him as you can.
That's the USC guy right now?
Yeah. You're paying Sharon Moore very little. Go after him.
Do it.
He was a Ravens guy.
It's cheaper to live in Michigan than in
He's not Wink Martindale.
Yeah.
He's got to miss the winters, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know where he's from, but
better
he's
taxes.
in Baltimore for a bit. Yeah. Better taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Danton Lynn, I know you watch. From that to the rapid fire turd pile, Northwestern at Maryland. I got Maryland.
Yeah, I got Maryland.
Washington at Iowa. Iowa's favored by 3.5. I got Washington.
Yeah, I like Washington to ride the momentum here and get another win on. Get one on the road here.
I do still really like Jed Fish, and I do think that they're better than their record. I don't think they're going to challenge in the Big Ten this year. Oh, I do think they'll score on Iowa.
I do think, I still think that Washington's a mid to bottom tier Big Ten team.
I'd say mid. For a minute, I was thinking worse, but
yeah. If we were broken into 5 tiers, I'd be tempted to put them in the 4th tier. Just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wisconsin at Rutgers.
This was probably my toughest pick this week. I got Rutgers though.
I do too.
Yeah, I'll get the win.
Purdue at Illinois. I got Illinois because Purdue is probably the worst team in the conference.
Speaking of
UCLA is hosting Minnesota. I got Minnesota.
Yeah, I've got Minnesota as well.
How about Minnesota just punching USC in the mouth?
Yeah, dude, good for
That's
them.
crazy.
Yeah.
Varsity game barely because USC, but Penn State at USC, I got Penn State.
Yeah, I got Penn State.
It'd be great if USC won this because I don't really like James Franklin at all, but
yeah, I
whatever.
feel like this game takes me back to that Rose Bowl game. I think it was a Rose Bowl where it was Saquon and I think USC had Sam Darnold and maybe Juju Smith-Schuster at the time. I don't know. It was a classic game in my opinion, a really fun game. Hopefully it's as fun as that. But I got Penn State.
Yeah. Game of the week is number 2 Ohio State at number 3 Oregon.
Crazy.
What do you got?
So I actually saw a tweet that like compared the stats to the Michigan State game they played them back-to-back weeks leading up to this, which was fun. Ohio State played Michigan State 2 weeks ago. Oregon played Michigan State this past weekend, and the stats were almost identical. It's kind of crazy, and it was a similar result, at least the spread of it. But yeah, I got Ohio State here. I think, in my opinion, Dylan Gabriel is a little bit of a fraud. He was the Heisman favorite coming into the season, and I kind of doubted that. I said it on the show, and I think that Ohio State's star power proves to be too much. I think the defense will smother him in that Oregon offense, and I got Ohio State by 7. Honestly, realistically, think they'll win by more, but I'm just playing it safe.
Yeah. I feel like this season most of my predictions have been wrong, so I'm going to try to control it a little. Well, that's true.
One of my playoff teams lost for the first time, so...
Who's that?
Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
It's a rough
It
loss.
was... Someone today at work said, it was just a weird week. I don't know if you can think it's that big of a deal for Michigan. And I was like, you obviously have not watched any Michigan. Like it wasn't just this week.
Yeah, it was. It was funny because it looked like the most boring week all season, like on paper.
Yeah.
Then it ended up being one of the most fun weeks.
A bunch of upsets.
Yeah.
Oh, Michigan's wasn't an upset.
Yeah, technically we're underdogs on the road against unranked team. No,
yeah.
Yep.
Anyways, I'm trying to control my wrong guesses a lot. It's kind of like how when my wife asks me my opinion on something, like for instance, should I wear this or should I wear this? And then she always chooses the one I didn't. So now I pick the one that I like the least when she gives me the option, and then I pick the winner each time. Well, not really, because
like in your head.
She picks the one that I actually thought. So Ohio State by 4. They're going to go undefeated. They're going to win the Natty. Probably going to win the Heisman with someone. Doesn't matter who.
Yeah.
No scandals are going to come from this. Michigan won't get any portal help or switch coordinators and won't ever bounce back. Ohio State by 4.
Honestly, think the only one you get wrong there is the Heisman, because I think that's pretty much the Boise State running back's got that.
He is
up,
insane.
Dude. Yeah, he was minus 4,000 to score a touchdown this weekend. Like if you wanted to bet on it, which is insane. But it's not that insane because his first carry took 63 yards for a touchdown.
He's nuts, man.
He is head and shoulders the Heisman for his favorite right now. He'd have to get
he
hurt.
was till I spoke.
Yeah.
Sorry, bud.
Yeah.
Things no one is talking about. What do you got?
I feel like we're not talking about enough how bad the SEC looks. Although Vanderbilt did have a decent non-conference win against Virginia Tech, but Virginia Tech lost to Rutgers also. So like, Rutgers is better than Bama. That's the point here.
That's true.
That's the things no one's talking about. The SEC sucks. Big Ten's gonna win it all.
There we go. Ohio State's gonna win easily. They're gonna blow out however many games they play in the playoff before the national championship, and then
when they win, you have to play this clip because you were right.
Well, you can lead off the show with it. My things no one is talking about is which quarterbacks are entering the transfer portal. It's not okay that we're not talking about it. Can we please start talking about guys that are planning to enter the portal?
You should go get Daquan Finn. Where's he at these days? I think he actually transferred somewhere.
Sam's Club.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have 2 tweets of the week. I'll do one and then I'll let you do one.
Yeah.
Mine is from Barstool Vandy. It says, he is in response to Barstool Bama. I'm about to crash out. We can't lose to a nerd school. And then Barstool Vandy said, here's some math for you. 40 is greater than 35. All right, what do you
It's just from at some Ohio State fan at Nick Seep. I don't know how to say your last name. Sorry, bud. But it says if Ohio State. It's in reference to there's been a few tweets the last few weeks where like fans will, where fans will like say like, oh, if my team loses to blah blah blah, I'll eat dog shit or whatever. Like I think a Michigan fan actually did that this weekend.
They did, and then they said they're not eating it, and people are like, oh, you've cursed them, and he's like, they're already cursed.
Yeah, because they cheated. That's where the curse came from. But so this guy tweeted, if Ohio State loses to Oregon, I will eat a 32-ounce ribeye, medium rare, with buttery garlic mashed potatoes, and not stress because Oregon is good and OSU will be fine. Yeah, point is, even if Ohio State loses this weekend, they're still going to win the national championship.
That's kind of a bummer about the the playoff.
Yeah, well, and that's
like I said, this week doesn't even matter because these two are going to play later for the championship.
Well, it's what's even more of a bummer is how little that Vanderbilt win over Bama really means. Because if Bama wins out, they're a lock for the playoff too.
If Bama loses two more, they're probably still in.
Yeah, low key. I mean, I don't know about two more, but
I said probably.
I think they have room to lose one more and still could easily make it.
For sure,
they could still be a top 4 seed by just winning the conference if they lose one more.
I agree. My second one is from Don Thomas. It's at Real Don Thomas. Michigan won the national championship this year. It is hard to be totally dissatisfied as a fan right now. At this point, I'm just looking forward to seeing his team and coaching staff learn, grow, and develop. In the meantime, Natty, #GoBlue. This is like kind of what I thought I would be feeling at this point if Michigan was where they are. But I also, I'm not. I'm like, are they going to grow? Are they going to learn? Are they going to develop?
Are they going to bring Connor Stallions back?
They should, because the NCAA is a turd anyway, so who cares?
I think I saw that he got his first win as a high school coach.
I didn't see the score, but it wasn't a 70-0 loss or whatever.
Yeah, apparently someone saw him on the sideline of the team that they played against and won the week before. So
he was he was on the sidelines this week too.
Of the team that they play next. That's what I meant. Like he was on the side of the team that they beat. He was on the sideline of that game apparently, on the other team's sideline.
I don't really care. He's allowed to do it now. He's not employed.
Yeah.
That's how dumb the rule is.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Crazy.
That's all I got.
Yeah, I don't got anything else.
Well, until basketball season, I'm going to be half checked out until then. See you next week. Go Blue.
Go Buckeyes.